Hello, homies. It's the Chill Island Oasis of truth and reality, back at it again. We just keep them coming. The hits keep coming. Um, sorry it took so long. Winston's mom's been here chilling. She was on point here about, yes, I was taking a shower and very insightful. Now he may be gathering his stuff and his thoughts. A minute or so and we should begin. How are you? Winston's mom, you make for a great co-host, so to speak. And I don't even know if that name does you justice enough. But anyway, um, Boba Fett, good to see you. Um, yeah, I was joking about taking a quick shower, or I was like I did want to make it quick, but it wound up, of course, being much less quick than I intended. Taking, always staying taken forever over here. Mad chill though. I've been getting hammered with the copyright stuff for the music I've been playing, but luckily all it does, well, the thing is that it just blocks the stuff in like some regions. So it's I kind of can't make up my mind on as to like how to take it going forward, because I mean it's pretty crucial to the vibe, as I keep saying. And um I'm not getting, knock on wood, I'm not getting in trouble or anything, you know? But it's just like, I'll go to my content, my content here, and it'll just be like visibility blocked or partially blocked. Um, there's some like smell that's like some girly perfume, and I don't know if it's from my sister or like from. There's some clothes right here, and it's fucking annoying. Hold on. I don't know what that is. It's annoying. I keep smelling some like strong perfume. But I don't like it. We'll see. It doesn't seem to be coming from anything in particular. It's just whatever. No, it just might be from clothes. There's two random pieces of clothing over here. But it doesn't seem like anything in particular. I walked over there and it doesn't smell like anything. So I don't know. Doesn't matter, but I'm sensitive to those things, smells and stuff. I'm just like, oh my god, there's some smell. It's driving me crazy. Might be some kind of spray. It's a mystery. It's the mystery of the perfumey scent. That is a thing, though. I mean, those can be annoying scents. You know what I mean? Like my sister is I feel like it's my sister. Like she's 17. She's gonna be 18 this year, and which is insane because to me she's still at least like 14. She's like a kid. She's a freaking kid. Okay? She's a baby to me. She's 8 years younger than me, so you can understand it's like it's insane. She's gonna be going to college. She still has to choose though her school. But anyway, since you understand how it is with the younger girls and their perfume, but I'm like she literally it seems like she douses herself in it. It's not a good vibe. I haven't complained yet, but I might have to. And then you know what else she's been doing lately? She's been burning sage. And I don't like the smell of sage, okay? I don't know if that means that in whatever astrology whatever that is, maybe I'm I've got the Mars energy. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that means. That I don't like the smell of the sage. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know if it's good or bad. My inclination tells me that it's heathen nonsense. So that's why I don't like the smell of it. But it could be the opposite, you know what I mean? It could be that I have bad juju. Also, it's 11/11, make a wish. Speaking of woohoo, I've never heard woohoo before. I've only heard woo, but I like woohoo too. Woohoo too, dude. Yeah, it's a very chill, low key stream today. In fact, it's like the opposite of a world record type vibe. Um, Sorry to hear you're not feeling very well, Boba Fett. I feel ya. Winter time vibes, very annoying. I was wicked sick a few months ago, uh, with like a really bad cold of some kind. But it was more than that. I got a fever, and it's rare that I get a fever. Like I had like a freaking 102 temp, but it was only over one night. And no COVID. Knock on wood, still haven't gotten COVID. Uh, but speaking of my sister, she actually got COVID twice, but it wasn't, major. Thank God. It was actually very minor both times. Although interesting how apparently she didn't feel as good the second time. Like she felt a little bit worse the second time, but that was after getting vaccinated. Like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Anyway, might as well. It was, and also, of course, this time it was actually both. It was actually the same time, one year after another, basically. That when she wound up getting the first variant, and then she got another. She went to a party where like half the kids got fucking COVID. It's crazy. It was like 14 out of 30 kids or something. So she got it, but then it was literally at Christmas, okay, and we were wearing masks, and no one got it, thank God. But no, I mean, no one else got it, thank God. But kind of annoying wearing masks and stuff, but on Christmas. But it was like honestly not that big of a deal. I mean, it was still a nice Christmas, but we just shit was crazy. We had that Omicron. It was fucking cool. It was part two or part three. I mean, what's the? Come on, crossing my fingers here for 2022. Anyway, you want to be monetized and camera and stuff? Isn't it jubilant like a small club like atmosphere? Yes. Yeah, man. They've been snagging me. it's like they managed to nail like a ton of songs that I play. I'm like, what? And it'll be stuff that like I wouldn't expect, kind of that would like kind of be. I'm like, really? They're giving a bit like. There's one time where I was like, there I played like the Beatles. I'm so tired, and I was like, oh well, that's not surprising that they flagged that. But then like, there's one song I have here by this random artist I just recently found named Colleen, and her song it's a cool song title actually. It's called Everyone Alive Wants Answers. But like then that gets found. That gets tagged or whatever. And then I'm looking, it's actually kind of cool looking at all the credits of the songs in the info, and I can look at it and be like, fuck, I have such good taste. You know what I mean? No. But I love to curate the mix, and it's just I've always had this conflicting idea about copyright or something where I'm like, I want to give credit to the artists and stuff, but at the same time, like, I want to co-opt them for my aesthetic. You know what I mean? um, but yeah, Winston's mom coming through with the truth about the monetization. I really, because like we'll see about that. I mean, we'll see if I can get more than 10 people in here at once. How about that? And then we can then we can talk. Then I can make a deal with YouTube. That's my voice for being a mogul, a business mogul. Uh, Plus, it's like I'm playing the stuff on the speaker, and I thought it would get away. I thought I could get away with it, you know. But it's like it'll just be like I'll go back on my streams, and it's just like, bing, bang, boom, you're done, you nailed, you're done. Woohoo rhymes with voodoo, esoterica. Voodoo is bad juju. We don't mess around with voodoo or Ouija boards. Whoa, my kitty, my black kitty just appeared right here. We have two cats, and that's weird because we're talking about voodoo and stuff. Hey, you. Hey. Hi, Fabu. You've been here. You've been here, haven't you? I was just thinking that she might still be here, and then I thought she went upstairs, but hold on, I'm gonna let her upstairs. Go upstairs, little friend. Cats are so funny because she's just sitting there like, are you gonna let me upstairs or do I have to fucking do it myself? Kid. She has a strong Boston accent. Yeah, I don't know if you guys could really see her. It's like it's dark and she's black, and no offense, no racism meant, you know. But I was shining the light, the flashlight. It's probably kind of disorienting, kind of witchy. Oh, as Winston's mom says, it's witch, witch stuff. I know. She's a good kitty, but it's like she is an outdoor cat, and it's funny because she actually can be kind of a bitch. Like she's always hating on the other kitty. We have there um like the other one is like a much more of a homebody, like sweet boy. You can just like pick him up and like do whatever you want with him, you know. He's a good boy. But then we have this other one, the one you just saw is a black woman, a strong black woman, and she always is pissed off at the other cat. Like she just will not be friends with him. And She's always hissing at him and stuff. But he's also weird. The other cat, like the boy, he's kind of weird. He's kind of perverted. He's always like sniffing where she's been and stuff, and he knows that she doesn't want to like hang out, but he goes up to her all the time anyway. Rarely they might sleep in the same bed together like far apart, but even then, like, I mean, she's real ruthless with it. And the thing that I really don't like, to be honest, is that I would say her most vicious quality is that she hunts animals and she'll bring them to the doorstep. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with this, but it'll be like even rabbits and stuff. And I love rabbits and stuff. And I really don't like that. And I'm always I get kind of pissed off about it, you know? Especially because I just don't want to step on that stuff or anything. But um ah. Also, I'm slightly allergic to cats. Even right now I'm like, but it might be the dust from my could be a million things. She is offering you a gift. This is in her nature. Yeah, you're right. I knows what love is. If you do, you know what love is. Wish you could be you. I wish you could be you. Might have to take a little antihistamine, but I don't want to get drowsy. I'm good though. I'm used to it, to be honest. I mean, knock on wood. Next thing I know, I'm having an anaphylactic attack. Fucking gotta go to the hospital. I like horror that is good, but oh wait, but let me see this. Uh, Doi, oi, 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 oi. Did you know that the idea behind a witch's familiar, her black cat, or some other animal who accompanies a witch is really representative of her conscience? No, I did not know that. That's interesting. Kim Novak and Jimmy Stewart, Bell Book and Candle. I do need to watch that. Good recommendation. I mean, I haven't even heard of it, but Kim Novak and Jimmy Stewart, they were in Vertigo together. Really good. Really fucking good. One of my favorite movies ever. Yeah. It is so cool. You guys like, yeah, so anyway, I do like good horror. And actually this all makes me think of, there's this movie I've been fucking loving lately it's like a horror comedy called House, and it's like a Japanese it's like a surrealist horror comedy, and it's one of the most batshit insane, like like the style of it is just the most unbelievable thing, and the music is so good. It's hilarious. It's totally bonkers. And there's a good quote from it where it's like, there's a usage of a cat. The whole thing is that a bunch of these girls go to a house. It's very simple, and it's one of their aunt's house, and her name's Gorgeous. It's Gorgeous's aunt, and they all have different names that are kind of like their skills. Like it's from 77, so it's got a really, I mean, it's pretty out of this world, but it's kind of like it does have this kind of almost cartoonish quality, you know? Like it was like it's like almost like a A little bit like what I would imagine might be kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon vibe, but it's like mixed with this just outlandish, outrageous. Yeah, it's just a story. Basically the aunt is some kind of witch, and the house is haunted, and it's not so much about. I mean, there is a plot, but it's kind of more about like the I don't know, the battle or whatever, because it's more ooh, I've been actually wanting to watch Metropia. Guess who's in that? Guess who does a voice in that? Vinny Gallo, my boy Vincent Gallo. Um, House is fantastic. Uh, it's a bit. It's like the only thing about it that holds it back a little bit in terms of replay value is, I guess, how fast paced it is. Like, but or generally speaking, like it's so flashy and fast paced. Um, but man, is it cool! It's so fucking cool, and it's so just crazy. But very original. Never really seen anything like it, and I loved it immediately. Oh, right, but there's like a cat, and there's a lot of stuff with like with a kitty cat, and it's like there's a quote from it that I like where it's like only like any cat can close. Or wait, sorry, what is it? Any cat can close a. Oh fuck! I fucked it up again. Any cat can open a door. Only a witch cat can close a door. It's a really funny movie too. There's a lot of there because, like I said, there are a bunch of just like schoolgirls, and they're just like there's a lot of like giggling, and it's just really funny and good. But I know I should try using a neti pot. But I was just thinking about house though because of my cat, my black kitty here. But it was a yeah. I'm glad you like that, Winston's mom, because I thought I was thinking you might like that. It's cool, isn't it so good? Um. Oh yeah. So Metropia, I gotta watch that. Um. Interesting, strange animation. Were you here the last time when we were discussing Aronofsky and Lynch? That stuff really tickles one's knees. um, David Lynch, yeah. So with his mom's we'll check it out. Really awesome. Yeah, Phantasm is like that's very much so in the vein of this. I think I need to watch that. That's been like high up on my list for a while. Um, this the stuff that I don't like in horror. Wait, Winston's because like Winston's mom, I think we're on the same page about this stuff. I can watch anything on screen except an animal being hurt. Me too. Basically, pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's like a big one though for me. I don't really like the Saw franchise slice and dice with plenty of gore stuff, but I hoover sci-fi and dystopia. Yeah, it's relatable. Enter the Void. Yeah, I gotta watch that. Fucking Gaspar. No, I've seen most of it actually. I have seen most of it. Crazy. Kind of fucked up too. Gaspar no is kind of fucked up. Um, but that's kind of in the vein of like this stuff for sure. Um, yeah, Lynch is the king though. I mean, Aronofsky is great too sometimes when he's not, I don't know, with Mother and everything, but kind of bad. But like, um, yeah, Aronofsky is pretty. He's hard hitting. He's very visceral. But Lynch is like amazing. Generally speaking, he's pretty. He's probably one of my favorite auteurs, so to speak. That term, auteur. I like that term. Um, Yes, Uma Thurman, Pulp Fiction, amazing. Robert Thurman is a Buddhist. I didn't know that, but that's interesting. Boba Fett says, "I can't bear to watch animals hurt by humans, but then I'm a bad Hindu and all sorts of meat, even our holy cows." Guy Ritchie too. Yeah, you're a big. You seem you're like a big fan of Guy Ritchie, huh? Revolver. I'll have to check that out. Tarantino is. I feel like he's hit or miss because he is so insistent on doing this um pastiche, they call it, you know? Like the thing about Tarantino is if he could sometimes I feel like if he could just settle the fuck down and like focus on a vibe, he's so I mean Jackie Brown is a pretty good patient. He's so interesting because he is patient at times, mostly with his dialogue, but there's such an insistence on his part to make just to just I don't know. I tend to really like him, but he's just overkill sometimes. No pun intended. Because on top of that, he can also be very violent. It's like it's kind of like cartoonishly violent, but you might say it's a little overboard sometimes when it feels like I recently watched The Hateful Eight and I thought it was good, but I was also disappointed because I actually really liked it in the first half better when it was like when it's like a really chill western with like beautiful cinematography, and then halfway through it just switches tone I've talked about this before, but it just completely switches tone and he and fucking becomes a this in fucking insane splatter film, and I'm just like, ugh, you just couldn't help yourself, could you, Quenty? You know, I mean, he's like one of his big guys is like Sergio Leone, and he's fucking Ennio Morricone and everything on the score, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I mean, this is gonna be his western." And then it's like, "Oh, no, it's a fucking splatter movie. What the fuck?" Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is much better overall, but then again, so are most of his other movies. That might be one of his worst. I would say The Hateful Eight and maybe Death Proof are his worst, but Death Proof has a fucking killer final 20 minutes or so. Unbelievable. Probably one of the well, I mean, I guess I'm a little limited because it's clearly coming from like this more 70s grind because it was from the double feature Grindhouse. I mean, it's not like it's thoroughly original or anything, but it's pretty I I haven't seen too many amazing car chases like that. I mean, I guess maybe in like the first Mad Max there's some pretty good stuff like that, but I mean, like fucking Death Proof, man, the car chase at the end with the chicks and Kurt Russell is fucking badass. Um, Inglorious Bastards is good. You know what I want to watch is Susan Seidelman's Desperately Seeking Susan with Madonna in it. I saw it on the other day, and I was like, man, this looks good. It kind of looks good. I don't really like Madonna that much, but like, this is cool for sure. Susan Seidelman made a pretty interesting movie about basically like a female narcissist what called Smithereens. and it's got this great soundtrack from the Feelies and Richard Hell from television shows up in it as this, like, pompous rock star, and, like, basically the whole thing is, like, this chick is, like, bouncing from house to house, apartment from apartment to apartment. She thinks she's like a punk. She's trying to run a zine and stuff, but she's basically just like a, uh, kind of a narcissistic bitch. But it's really it's you'd be surprised. It's actually winds up being almost like a moral, like, cautionary tale or something. It kinda reminds me of, it's very proto it's kinda proto, like, Noah Baumbach or something. Like, there's a movie called Greenberg with Ben Stiller that's interesting, um, where he is, uh well, he's kind of this archetype of the grumpy Jewish guy, but it's like but it's like for today's generation because he's like, well, to be fair, it came out in like 2008. So, but it's very much like that New York hipster scene, and he's actually so funny in it, like, because he's so, like, bitter, and, like, he like, one of the quirky things in it, right, is, like, he, like, writes letters like, businesses and stuff, and it will be like just to complain about stuff, and, like, basically he's curmudgeonly, but he's kind of like, kind of young. I mean, he's not like that old or anything, you know, but he's like 40. But he has just gotten out of like actually a mental hospital, and like, he can't drive, and he meets this chick played by Greta Gerwig, who's Baumbach's wife, and she made Lady Bird, and well, she made another movie called Frances Ha that I need to watch, but or no, 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 sorry, Noah Baumbach made that. Greta Gerwig starred in that. Greta Gerwig made Lady Bird, which is pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised by that movie, but not trying to get too sidetracked here, because Greenberg is actually a pretty good movie about like a narcissistic guy in this case, and a narcissistic Jewish guy at that. And it's like, of course, only Baumbach and Stiller could get away with that, but they do it with they pass with flying colors. It's not for everybody though, because it's like it's just I was kind of talking about movies like this yesterday where people tend to be very pretty alienated, I think, by movies that are like have unlikable characters as the central focus, but it is basically, again, another type of movie where in its own kind of slow-paced, naturalistic way, he does come to grips with the fact that he needs to mature a bit, and stop being such a grumpy Gus. And you know, it's I don't mean to spoil it. But that's actually kind of I guess that's kind of the movie. I kind of just spoiled it, but it's doesn't really ruin anything. I mean, and plus, like, it's also, I wouldn't say it's like amazing or anything. But it kind of brings to mind kind of a post Smithereens kind of thing. It's actually, even the chicken Smithereens has this kind of New York, like, Jewish-ish hipster thing going on, but it's not. I don't think she's necessarily Jewish though. But it's funny because it's an archetype. Like, the whole thing is like like Ben Stiller fucks up their chance at getting like a record deal when they were younger, like him and this guy, and Jennifer Jason Leigh shows up as like an ex, and it's just it's kind of just like a slice of life character study thing. But it's, again, kind of a cautionary tale. It's like you don't really want to be Greenberg. He's pretty funny in it though, because he's like, well, it's like the neurotic thing, but he's kind of an asshole, like, kind of underrated though, in my opinion. Yeah, Susan Berman. That sounds like kind of like a New York Jewish name. Again, it's like, no offense, but they nail it though. They're both brilliant. films. Anyway, yeah, so Susan Seidelman did Smithereens, but then she did Desperately Seeking Susan with Madonna. Like major step up, right? In terms of, like production value, Hollywood vibes, I guess you could say. But that seems like it could be a decent middle ground, if you know what I mean, in terms of like indie to mainstream thing. I mean, damn, yeah, Rosanna Arquette, Madonna, John Turturro, like fuck. Doesn't seem no. That's probably fairly low key. Oh shit, Richard Hell shows up again. Oh wow, and Arto Lindsay, who's like using DNA. Like what the heck? Super hip. Laurie Metcalf, Ellen Barkin, Jennifer Jason Leigh. Oh no, sorry, it's Madonna barely obtained the role over Ellen Barkin and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Suzanne Vega also auditioned for the role. What the fuck? There's like, look at all these names. Rocket's Red Glare. My goodness. Giancarlo Esposito, Rocket the Red Glare. This is great because this is also in the vein of like a little bit like Jim Jarmusch. I love Jim Jarmusch. I can't believe I haven't brought him up yet, but I'll talk about that in a second. Winston's mom says, "Do you think QT really has a foot fetish? What do you think about the whole idea of a foot fetish? I mean, I like my feet rubbed, but not for any reason than the rubbing feels good, not sexy." No comment. I'm just kidding. But like I I must have some kind of like in the middle thing because I can see how it's like attractive like if a girl has nice feet. But it also makes me laugh and it's really funny and it is kind of weird and different, so I don't really I mean what it's also different when you think about but I can't I don't know exactly though how to quantify what makes for quote unquote nice feet. But I mean, it's the same with the girls' hands. They paint their if they paint their nails and stuff and whatever that can be like pretty. Uh, but it's not like this thing of like, oh, look at the shape of her foot and stuff. Like, ew, it's kind of creepy. But I think I kind of get it, but I also don't. I'm I'm not freaky about it. You know what I mean? I'm just an appreciator of the female form. You know what I mean? That'd be funny though. You're just like the curvature of the foot, the the dynamics. Yeah, like I'm not about that. I'm not about getting scientific about it, you know? Getting all mathematical and shit. Like what's your like asking chicks what their shoe sizes are. Just wondering. Like giggling to myself. Like what the fuck? Being a weirdo, being a freak. Boba Fett though. He's like, well played, CJ. He goes, lol. Edgy. Desperately Seeking Susan seems good. Seems like a vibe. Oh yes, and it reminds me of Jim Jarmusch, kind of that people, especially the people that come through in it. Ben Stiller is really David Shapiro's left-wing entertaining brother from another. David Shapiro. Sounds familiar, but he's a poet and so forth. That's cool. Lol. What's his mom just goes lol. Benjamin is a Solarian. Morden Solace. A lot of names. A lot of names coming through. You know, it's a dexterity thing. Some people can write, paint, even play the guitar with just their feet. True, that's pretty crazy. Dexterity. Just like, yeah, dude, if a girl can paint with her feet, I'm like head over heels. No pun intended. No pun intended. So I'm indifferent. No, I don't know. Is that weird though? I mean, like people really I like, you know, am I freaky? I mean, because I think that I'm pretty reasonable about it. But you might, I feel like people I sound like Jordan Peterson. You might say Jordan Peterson on foot fetishes. And well, to some degree, you might say that it's normal for a man to be attracted to a woman's feet. But the second you ask people about it, they think it's weird. They don't know. That was a little bit. That's good. That would be like if he did like a stand-up routine. Oh God. Wouldn't that be so good? Can you guys imagine Jordan Peterson doing stand-up? Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Sorry, that sounded a little sexual. We're getting steamy in the chat. The dynamics. And you know, there have been studies that show a correlation between a woman's political affiliation and her shoe size. Conservative women tend to have smaller feet. Liberal women tend to have bigger feet. And you know that points to something interesting about the dominance hierarchies. And how the liberals' big feet, how they stomp on the little people, those elitist liberal, those pricks. Remember when he was like on the webcam, like looking at his teeth and stuff, and then his wife comes in and she says something to him, probably about trannies. No, I'm just kidding. But she says something to him, and she's like, "Look at this," like the newspaper, you know. And then he's like, "Fucking pricks." He doesn't say it like that, but like, oh fuck, fucking pricks. That was epic. That was based when he swore. I'd love to see Jordan Peterson swear more too, you know? If he was just like, the fucking bloody postmodern Marxists, neo-Marxist postmodernists. You can talk about astrology, I don't care. I mean, I don't know if you think I'm like anti-astrology or something, but I mean, I'm not per se. I just have some thoughts and feelings about all of it, you know? It's complicated. It's bloody complicated. Lilith. I happen to know that my Lilith is in Cancer. In my 12th house, I think. My moon is also in Cancer in my 12th house. Actually, wait, do I have that right? I think the Lilith Lilith is here. She's gonna abduct me and fucking fuck me. On top. You and Jonathan told me about that with his mom. I didn't realize that it was real. I didn't realize that. I thought you were making a joke once when you said the Lilith on top thing, like she was the first woman on top. I was like, lol, yes, she was. I thought you were making a joke, like a clever joke. But then I'm like, but then Jonathan's like telling me like that's actually what it is though. And I was like, oh shit, makes that makes more even more sense then. Does it not? And Lilith was the first dominant woman. You might even say she's more masculine, the dominance hierarchy. Not so much the average feminine, but she was chaotic feminine. See, actually. And we all know that bitches be crazy. I love it. Then he starts talking like a rapper. We all know that I gotta work on my Peterson. We all know that bitches be crazy. Then it sort of almost is veering into Obama. Was I just a little bit of Obama just then? And bitches be crazy. I feel like I can do a decent Obama. I just have to. You just talk deep and very professional. Okay, but my Lilith might be in Cancer in my 10th house. No. No. Hold on. I have a freaking app. They can tell me. And no. Well, you know what they say. Bitches be crazy. Bitches be wildin'. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be offensive. It's just like for some reason I like him to just be like pimp, like a pimp. He's just like, and sometimes you gotta put a leash on a bitch. I'm sorry. Like, could you imagine? Like, I just would love to hear Obama say some shit like that. There is one thing though where he says, "You guys want to hear something funny?" Hold on. There's footage of like Obama talking at like a thing, and he says he says like he's doing like something from like he's doing like a monologue.
After a basketball at the university one day, Ray and I happened to strike up a conversation with a tall, gaunt man named Malik, who played with us now and again.
It's like Malcolm X.
Malik mentioned that he was a follower of the Nation of Islam, but that since Malcolm had died and he had moved to Hawaii, he no longer went to mosque or political meetings, although he still sought comfort in solitary prayer. One of the guys sitting nearby must have overheard us, for he leaned over with a sagacious expression on his face. Y'all talking about Malcolm, huh?
Fuck
Malcolm
yeah.
tells us like it is, no doubt about it. Yeah, another guy said, but I tell you what, you won't see me moving to no African jungle anytime soon. Or some goddamn desert somewhere sitting on a carpet with a bunch of Arabs. No, sir. And you won't see me stop eating no ribs either. Gotta have them ribs. And pussy too. Don't Malcolm talk about no pussy? Now, you know that ain't gonna have them ribs. And pussy too. Don't Malcolm talk? Gotta have them ribs. And pussy too. Don't Malcolm talk about no pussy? Now you know that ain't gonna work.
I didn't know that there was that second part.
I noticed Ray laughing and looked at him sternly.
Oh, me.
What are you
Literally
laughing
talking
at?
to me right now.
I said to him.
What are you fucking
You never
laughing
even
at?
read Malcolm.
Yeah,
I said to him.
you play that
You
shit
never
back.
even read Malcolm. You don't even know what he says.
True. Sorry.
Ray grabbed the basketball out of my hand and headed for the opposite rim. I don't need no books to tell me how to be black.
True.
He shouted over his head.
Me.
I started to answer, then turned to Malik, expecting some words of support. But the Muslim said nothing. His bony face set in a faraway smile.
All this talk about Muslims is making me uncomfortable. You know? It just sounds like a slur, you know? No, I'm just kidding, but that really is him talking at a thing. You can watch. He's reading from a book though. I just liked it. Gotta have them. Wait. Gotta have them ribs and pussy too. Locker room talk is actually the thing. How funny is that too? Very proto Trump. So strange. Oh yeah, what's my Lilith? Who's my freaky sex goddess masterpiece? Masterpiece theater over here. What does this guy thinks he's in masterpiece theater over here? Really cultured mobster. Bruh. Where my Lilith be at? Man. I don't feel like plugging it all into a thing. I don't feel like it. Gotta have them ribs. And pussy too. I'm trying to make that my alarm clock real quick. Whoa, Doja Cat is a Libra. Ow. Fucking cracking my head off over here. Yo. Where my dogs at? Astro, what's that one that everyone Cafe Astrology maybe? I want to sit in the cafe and talk about astrology all day. With my ladies. What? Oh my god. This is the worst. Yeah, this is like the worst layout for website ever. On Cafe Astrology. It's so bad. Birth chart. My goodness. I'm about to do it. I'm scared. I don't know what I was gonna say. As I've done this like a million times. I hope Jackie Brown or whatever his name is, and Bobby Brown doesn't come in and yell at me for being a heathen. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal just to like, but oh, yo, look at my birth chart. My how? Is it really that bad? You know? I don't know, man. You live and you learn. Period. Period, bitches. Really like aggressive Twitter culture. Okay. Okay, guys. All this just to see my Lilith sexy Lilith. She's scary, man. I don't fuck with that. Come on, man. It's not letting me in the Oh my god. Come on. Damn. Okay. This thing better fucking tell me what it is. Lilith, yeah, it's Lilith and Cancer, but it's doesn't tell me the house. 5 square between Lilith, though. Yeah, Obama was fucking popping off there. So good. My groceries are here. Let me go bring them inside. I'll return in a bit. Yum. I can always smell the fried chicken and I'm super duper hungry. That sounds really good. What your Bible warns against is worshiping those planets and their rulers as false gods. Studying astrology and understanding the symbology is not worship. Well, call me a heathen, but I think I agree. I mentioned that yesterday. I do agree with that. Yeah, like legit, right? You start like praying to Lilith and stuff. Scary. That's a thing. I remember Charles Carroll actually mentioned that too. Well, I don't know. People might do that sometimes. Kind of scary. But that's where you get real blasphemous with it. Makes sense to warn against it though, you know? It's not like you have to heed the war. I mean, well, you should, but it's like it's not. I just like how you say what it warns against because it's kind of just like yeah. I mean, it's probably not good to worship those planets and their rulers as false gods. It's different from just studying astrology and understanding the symbology. Boba Fett says the church has a bunch of observatories. Wonder why? Yeah, so true. Is that a Catholic thing though? What's up with that? Yeah, it's a weird Vatican thing. That's weird. It's fucking weird. But maybe it's more than that. I'll have to look into that. I was raised Catholic, but I think the Pope and the Vatican are weird, and I mean I always have to be honest, and I probably always will. That makes me a heretic. I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? It's like the government of religion of Christianity or at least just Catholicism. It's like some weird government thing. It seems odd to me. No one Christian versus Catholic versus Orthodox. The Russians celebrate Christmas on the 5th on January. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the Orthodox thing. Tell you the truth, I'm not so sure at the very least what makes Christian generally different from Orthodox. I mean, I guess there are all different sects to them, but to Christianity, but Orthodox is a specific thing, you know. Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox. Well, I guess it's the Eastern Orthodox Church. They are no, they, I mean they are. Well, they're two distinct entities, but they're part. I guess you could just blanket them under Eastern Orthodox Church. The second largest Christian church. I bet the biggest one is either Catholic or it's probably Catholic, isn't it? Yes, it is. I read a bunch of clues about the IRA and SAS. Megadeth were playing somewhere in the UK, and Dave blurted, this one's for the cause that got them in a lot of trouble. Dave, I've read about Dave Mustaine. He's got some pretty based. The cause, though, what did he mean by that? Is he referring to some kind of Christianity thing? Because he is Christian now, and he said some very interesting things about the metal scene and so forth. Can't believe I've never really listened to Megadeth or Metallica for that matter. Maybe now I need to. It's interesting how this guy, is obviously had such a change of heart and stuff. Huh. Wow. Got them in a lot of trouble, huh? Interesting. You want to play certain songs anymore, The Conjuring, etc. That's badass. Well, he said he's seen some that he did some black magic shit back in the day. And that he's seen like satanic aspects of the metal scene, which we all know. Like everyone knows that, But he obviously he went in the opposite direction. So good for him. But he's also he's like a QAnon guy though, isn't he? I mean, he's like everything. He just checks every box. Like I wonder how he feels about vaccines. I'm sure no one cares anymore because he's already. Everyone's gonna think he's a fucking weirdo now, which is ironic, isn't it? That's kind of my whole thing. Don't even get me started on this stuff, okay? But he seems like a cool, chill guy. He's just like, oh yeah, fuck that shit, Good for him. It's cool. I think it's badass in the proper way. Properly badass. Properly framed badassery. Insane musicians get into them. Super good stuff. Yeah, nice. I need to check them out. Yeah, no pun intended too, right? Because people probably get, oh, he's wacky. He's wacko now. But no, it's cool, man. You know what I mean? He's all over the place. They type him ESTP. Great guy. I love him. No, that's very cool, actually. I mean, you certainly don't see that every day with just in general. I'm about to check out his wiki real quick and just like fucking see the goodness of his recent years. The cause. He was talking about the Irish. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you said that. He was talking about the IRA. Wow, this was in '88. Oh my goodness, so badass. Oh shit! I have this weird. I have like a mild stenosis, foraminal stenosis in my shoulder, and he has it from many years of headbanging. I was just talking about this spondylosis and stenosis. So weird. The fuck? Judas Priest. LOL. You mentioned Judas Priest. He said some funny stuff about them. I'm not gonna repeat it here. Okay, I will repeat this though because it's pretty funny. In 2012 on Cairo FM, he was asked if he supports gay marriage and replied, "Well, since I'm not gay, the answer to that would be no." Which is just funny because it makes it like, he made it sound like he only doesn't support gay marriage because he's not gay. Then later, though, he did say he was then asked if he would support legislation. Oh, it was actually in the same interview. He elaborated. He said he was then asked if he would support legislation to make gay marriage legal, and said, "I'm Christian." The answer to that would be no. Okay. Well, there you go. But, bro, yeah, this black magic shit, The Conjuring, bruh. Oh, yeah, I did. I already read this stuff, but it's still just amazing to read now. I love the Alex Jones stuff. What type do you guys think Alex Jones is? What kind of music you generally into, CJ? Thanks for asking. That's a good question. I mean, I don't really limit genres, but I mean, I do tend to like more so-called, I guess, I don't know, like independent music stuff, like kind of like used to call it alternative and stuff, but I don't even know what that means. It's just kind of like indie and alternative. It's kind of like, well, what does that really mean? So I guess you might say I like stuff that's like rock, pop, electronic, rap, anything good. Straight sure, like people are like that. Let's go. I'm gonna have to watch Dave Mustaine on Alex Jones. Right I'm gonna have to watch yes, sorry. I'm gonna have to watch Dave Mustaine on Alex Jones's show. Third Eye Bling. Third Eye Blind. I like their hits, but Radiohead was the first big band for me. Like that was like one of the first bands I really got into. It was definitely Radiohead. No, I've never been in a boy band. I've never really been a big pop music fan in that regard. I know I just said pop, but like when I say pop, I mean like the music formula. I mean like the Beach Boys. You know what I mean? Like pop music theory. I love this guy John Mouse. He's very cool. He actually talks about this, about pop music and how it's like the language through which we speak, and he's amazing. Um, he's a genius, really. He's probably one of the few people I'd say is like a true genius. But Lemmy said something very poignant in that interview that featured in the movie, which is the first music blows your mind as a kid, it'll stick with you forever. Totally paraphrased. Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of wish that I didn't know that, like Radiohead's OK Computer and Kid A were so like well received, and that they're always topping lists and stuff, because I feel like knowing it in advance, like, could have contributed to coloring my perceptions of them as amazing. But I did feel as though like hearing those albums was kind of like, I mean, it's funny you would mention the Beatles, because I feel like it was a little bit like what I can imagine some people felt like back in the day listening to the Beatles, or more accurately like Pink Floyd or something, because they're such like big albums. Um, fucking OK Computer and Kid A, man. And they probably were the first like albums where I was like, "Oh shit, nice." I mean, although I was aware of the Beatles and especially Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, I guess I associated they're like my dad's favorite band, so I guess I was always, even though I love the Beatles though. It's just like, I was a little late on that, because it was kind of like, oh, my dad's favorite band and stuff, but he's got good taste. My dad, he really does. The Black Album, Metallica, Forever Thrash. There's, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think I've told you this before. Just how going back, it was like, I liked more punky type stuff when I was younger. So you might even say, I don't know. I mean, so I got into Green Day pretty much. I might say Green Day was like my first real band, but people don't really like. It honestly might have been American Idiot, which is kind of cringe, but I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of a big one for me. Again, another big album too, no pun intended. Like, um I mean, Good Charlotte's The Young and the Hopeless, and Green Day's American Idiot, and Blink 182's self-titled album. That's the holy trinity of the pop punk. Those were early for me. And I like Beck a lot. All of Beck's stuff, but Odelay was a big first one for me. Definitely Beck's Odelay. Um and Beck's Guero, which was both the Dust Brothers on production. Beastie Boys also worked with Dust Brothers on Paul's Boutique. And another one that's funny because my mom loves Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. That was an early one too, actually, that I got into. But even Sublime's self-titled album, funny enough. I mean, not as much as others, but I mean, geez, there were like a bunch of songs on that that like really, really defined my childhood. Like, not a punk fan. Well, I got more into like, real punk when I was older. I mean, obviously Black Flag is good, but I really love Minor Threat and Ian MacKaye, he went on to well, I mean Henry Rollins is awesome. He's amazing. But I don't really care about his music that much. He's more of an interesting personality. Ian MacKaye is an interesting personality too, but I think Minor Threat, like first 2 7 inches is amazing, and the stuff he did with Fugazi is pretty good. I haven't gotten into them like a lot of people do, but they are one of those bands though that they're a little of the more arty. They're like I feel like they have a reputation of being one of the more arty bands of the punk crowd. I mean, not by a huge margin, but they kind of had that aesthetic going on. Like you might even call them a little bit of like I don't know, man, the Radiohead of that scene or something. Speaking of the Radiohead of that scene, the Radiohead of metal, I've heard people say is this band Converge. They're a metal band. They're pretty good. Even it's funny talking about this actually because you're making me think of punk and how like I didn't realize I don't think of it that often, but I guess like more punky type stuff really did define a lot of my musical uh what's the word I'm looking for? Musical education. Because what was the last thing I mentioned? Fugazi, Radio Converge. Oh yeah, because like honestly, one of the first because see, you're probably gonna cringe. Because I can already kind of tell, I don't know, your vibe here, but like I remember there speaking of Converge, one of the first metal bands that I was aware of that I thought that I was intrigued by. I was both disturbed and intrigued by them, as I would say, which I also have said now twice about Aronofsky's Requiem for a Dream. Probably talking to you, Boba Fett, or well, all of you guys probably. But, um, bro, it's this band Pig Destroyer. They're just fucking insane, and it's so anyway. You probably know the genre. It's like grindcore, But this all comes back to what I'm saying here about it's so funny how grindcore is basically punk metal, you know. So is Converge. It's all of that same kind of like blending the two, and Pig Destroyer is fucking insane. Sex Pistols, of course. I mean, it's like Nevermind the Bollocks is pretty great. I think there might still be a few songs on that I haven't heard though, to be honest. I feel like I've heard the whole thing at this point though. It's not like a wicked long. There's only a few tracks on it, but that's just like a bona fide classic. So good. You like the Verve? That's cool. They have some good stuff. Obviously, I mean, everyone knows Bittersweet Symphony, but that's still an amazing song. They did something with that sample from the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, and they just like made it into something totally new, which I respect because it sounds so good. It's so nostalgic. I should probably listen to more from them, probably mostly from that album. Yes, Rollins is the man. I like that's funny though that you don't like there's no solos and stuff. Yeah, the DIY stuff is great. I mean, another pretty good early punk band is X. one letter X. They're pretty good. Um, yeah, you got me thinking of classic punk right now. You know, um, but it's not like my main wheelhouse though. You know, so like I don't want to. I'm trying to only name things that I'm like actually like into. You know what I mean? Like obviously, I'm not just trying to like throw out names because like oh yeah, they're punk and they're punk and everybody's like. But I will say, even just seeing right here, I just looked up Sex Pistols. People also search for The Clash, Ramones, Malcolm McLaren, Nancy Spungen. Is that her name? Oh shit, who's Nancy Spungen? Is she? Oh well, that reminds me of some other stuff. Oh yeah, well I guess I mean honestly, when it really comes down to it, like punk, man, like post punk. I love post punk type stuff, like Joy Division, and to a lesser extent, like New Order. And one of my favorite bands, Deer Hunter, is pretty post punk. Even John Mouse is pretty post punk. Yeah, so-called punk. But it made me think of X-Ray Specs too. Susie and the Banshees. Oh yeah, but I need to listen to more of the Clash. But I've been listening to more Ramones lately, and they're pretty great. Oh really? You've never heard of Joy Division? I mean, they're not for everybody. They're pretty emo. I mean, like pretty goth. Ian Curtis, kind of a tragic figure in music, sort of a bummer. But like they had two albums, Unknown Pleasures and Closer. It's funny though because some people say because it could be closer or closer. But I think it's closer. And well then they had some other compilations and stuff, but they really only had two proper albums. Geddy Lee. Well, Rush is pretty awesome too. I've been listening to this band Yes lately. They're amazing. They're an older band. They're kind of like Rush. Um Man, yeah, Joy Division though. You might recognize the Unknown Pleasures album. You know what's annoying though is that I actually met two chicks who like wore that shirt only for the fashion of it. One of them even went as far as to like have it be like a crop top, and they both were just like, "I've never heard this. I just like the design." I'm like, "What are you fucking kidding me?" But both of those albums to me are like they are definitely very excellent albums. I mean, Unknown Pleasures and Closer. But I was like, that's embarrassing that people do that. But the design is cool. I mean, even a guy friend of mine had that shirt, but I was annoyed because I was like, dude, you don't even like them that much. The fuck. But I had the shirt too. Yeah, but I actually like it though. You know what I mean? You might even say that the Velvet Underground and had punk. They were kind of proto punk as they call it. Like Iggy Pop and the Stooges and stuff. Fuck yeah, love that shit. I mean, the Velvet Underground though, they're like all time greats status beyond punk. I mean, definitely one of my all time favorites. Like, definitely one of my favorite bands of all time. I love, like I was saying about Joy Division, I love them too, but they're not for all moods. Like, but they're pretty post punky. It's all on the drums and the bass. You know what I mean? And it's like a certain guitar tone, but it's a cool vibe. I kind of Who are some other post-punk type artists? Oh well, people apparently loves it. You might even, I guess, you could say Talking Heads. Yeah, Talking Heads are great. I mean, especially Remain in Light. Their album Remain in Light is that's probably one of my favorite albums of all time. That's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. Scando. JD. Yeah, they're good, man. I mean, they're archetypal, you know. I mean, Ian Curtis's voice is like this kind of haunting, like baritone, and like I said, they have that kind of the drums are very like well, you know how punk is, right? It's just kind of like up tempo, but they also will then do these very slow songs, so it's you know atmospheric post punk. You know what I mean? Atmospheric and gloomy post punk. It's a pretty good way of describing it. With Ian Curtis's haunted baritone vocals, and I'm blanking on his name, but the bass is pretty iconic. Sound of the bass, the tone of the bass, and the guitar is good too. Yeah, it's all on the drums. I like that shit where it's like I'm gonna have to check out this Megadeth right here. Oh shit, it's a cover of Sex Pistols. Nice. Dude, fuck yeah, I'll save that because I love the original. And now I'm the biggest fan of Dave Mustaine now. So I have to save this cover. It's perfect. It's a nice little intro to them because I mean, I honestly don't know if I've even heard like the big stuff from them. Shame on me, right? I mean, well, maybe I've heard Symphony of Destruction. I don't know. Problem. Well, yeah, true. I mean, they're shredding. The Metallica. I mean, I know the big stuff from Metallica though. Obviously, But I will admit I haven't listened to their like classic stuff, which is I think I'm gonna need to get on that. I mean, that's OG stuff right there for sure. So, I mean, like, I feel like, Megadeth. They don't. I feel like they don't get as much like critical acclaim. Like people really love those early Metallica albums, But I can't really recall the Megadeth albums, but obviously, it's like everyone knows Master of Puppets and fucking Injustice for All and another one. Now I can't fucking find it. Problems. But in the correct order, let's take a look at this right now. Yeah, I guess you would say that Hot Streak from Ride the Lightning to Master of Puppets to And Justice for All. That trilogy right there seems to be crucial in music in general. You know what I mean? But I look at the Megadeth discography and I fail to really, be familiar with their albums. I guess, Rust in Peace sounds familiar. But hold on. Not saying it makes them any less good, but I'm just speaking on the legacies and the reception and so forth. All that nonsense. I'd just be nerdy like that. Hold on. About to peep the Megadeth discography real quick. Oh yeah, that's an iconic name. Peace sells, but who's buying? Epic. Badass. That might be the only one I'm really familiar with. Like maybe I've heard of Rust in Peace, but no. I don't think so. What are your favorites from both of them? Like what are your favorite albums from both Metallica and Megadeth? You might have already told me. Let me see. Cliff Burton. Oh, nice. Yeah, you didn't tell me. Yeah, do you have any like favorite albums from them? Shit's being slow for me. Too much stuff open here. It's all good though. I'm probably gonna stop streaming soon anyway. I was planning on having this be kind of a short stream, and kind of works out because like no one's really here. Not that I'm just doing a short stream, so it kind of works out. But this is really being